Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. You know what? I forgot to put my light on. Let me put that on. There you go. And yeah, welcome to my channel. I am NinjaGuyX and today is a very special stream. Very excited. Today we are streaming Alan Wake 2, which a key was provided to me by GeForce, as I am a GeForce ambassador and GeForce NOW. And yeah, you know, very nice of them, and I'm really looking forward to the game. There's been a lot of talk to it, and you know, it's been raved about a lot. So this is gonna be my first look. I never played the game, and very excited. And what makes it even more excited is that I've got a special guest with me. I do have ElementalLeech. How are you doing, my friend?
I'm doing fantastic.
Awesome. So ElementalLeech is a little bit of a Remedy fan. Can you maybe talk a little bit about that? And you know, how was your involvement with Remedy?
Yeah, I'm call it kind of like a super fan. I've loved every single game of their series. It honestly started technically with Max Payne back in the old Xbox era, but I really got into it with the first Alan Wake and kind of just took off from there. Each of the games that came out, just absolutely loving how they do presentation and story, and the creative director Sam Lake, how he interacts with the fans is just the best way people described it is it's a AAA studio that feels like an indie game studio.
Oh, yeah, I love when they do that. You know, like that reminds me of a kind of like Hi-Fi Rush, right? Like it was a AAA game, but felt like an indie studio. So you know, when you say that, I'm even more excited. These are really the type of games that I enjoy. So it's gonna be pretty cool. The last game I finished from Remedy was Max Payne 1. I think that was like their first game. So you know, I'm gonna be very rusty, but you know, it's gonna be cool. So before we start, I just want to say, you know, we're gonna be looking at Alan Wake through GeForce Now. We're gonna be enabling all the beautiful graphics and see, you know, how graphically intense this game is. And also for the people who know Alan Wake 2, there's actually some extra content available that will be available in the future, including a new game plus, which will have a nightmare mode and a photo mode. So, you know, for people who likes to take picture mode inside the game, eventually you'll be getting that. They're still, you know, actively working on the game, and yeah, we'll see some pretty cool stuff.
So, that's awesome news.
Yeah, I wasn't sure. Were you aware of that, Elemental?
No, I'm kind of surprised they didn't have a picture mode yet, because it's just such a picturesque game.
Right. There's some GeForce Now ambassador that are ambassadors because they are like picture fanatics, and yeah, two of them, they're like super excited about that. They can't wait to give that a try. Who's the music here? And guys, in the chat, I see Dead Dog 52 here. Welcome, my friend. If the music of the game is too loud, just let me know. Sometimes it depends on the game. Sometimes it's louder, sometimes it's not. So definitely check it out. He says no spoilers, so I'm not sure if he'll be in there, but we'll see. So,
it's kind of hard not to spoil a game while you're playing it.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Oh my gosh. So before we go, we're gonna go look at the options, especially the graphics. So you have a display resolution, and then you have a render resolution, which you can actually make the game looks even better by putting higher resolution for the render. And then they have upscaling for DLSS and FSR. I believe FSR is for not NVIDIA, but the other AMD, the AMD graphics. Like I said, it's using the latest technology. So it has DLSS frame generation, and it's using AI basically to generate some of the frames, which is pretty crazy. VSync, we all know about VSync. Motion blur, film grain, which has got some nice accessibility features, because some people, you know, these type of things, it makes them sick, but it doesn't for me, so we'll keep it on. We've got quality preset. So I decided to put everything at high. We're running on a 4080, I believe. Let me check just to make sure. Yes, we are running on a 4080, so we'll see exactly if it can run it or not. I wish I had, HDR, but I don't. But there's some, yeah,
Your
there's some pretty crazy graphics in
shadow
here.
details on medium. Go back up.
Okay. Oh, look at that. Good eye. Let's change that to high. Here you go. So, like you said, Elemental, so playing the first hour of the game, there's not really like any major spoilers for people who are playing the first game.
Not that I can recall.
Okay.
But one thing I will note, go back into the options real quick.
Yeah.
I found this fascinating, and I love how a lot of games are doing more accessibility features. So in the audio setting,
Okay.
there is the hyper acoustic filter. It
Oh.
kind of works with the frequencies. So people who have sensitivity to higher frequencies, you can adjust that. Because this is, a survival horror type game, so there are effects and things that, not necessarily jump scare, but kind of jump out a little bit and make real loud sounds and make effects. It's not a setting I've seen before, and I really kind of appreciate having that as an accessibility feature in there for people, so that usually you have people for like flashes and strobes and like this, but actually having a sound effect one I thought was really interesting having in there.
Yeah, it's crazy what you see nowadays because I have a friend. I haven't spoke to him in a while, but he has some kind of a disability with his eyes, and it's as if like he can't super focus on images. And there's some accessibilities for that also. Like it's as if like they study all the kind of disability that people has, and they try to like make it work for everybody, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah, video games is a hobby, and they want to make sure everyone can be able to enjoy it the best way they can possible.
Exactly. When I'm 70 years old and I have difficulty in games, maybe I'll change my difficulty to normal. Then we'll see what happens. But I
And
see.
one thing
Yeah.
I'll note to turn the dialogue volume up. We found when I was playing with my wife that the dialogue was really quiet, and I found in the volume settings that was a little too low. I think everything else should be good. You can kind of manipulate the sound effects you need, but dialogue typically was a little quieter than we needed to be. Kind of what was going on.
Perfect.
But yeah, to go back to your initial question, yeah, the first hour there's really not a whole lot of spoilers from the first game. I mean, you generally know, just to kind of sum it up real quick, basically Alan's still in what's called the dark place. But as far as the ending of the first game, how that all happens, that's not relayed at all.
That's really
one of the
good.
nice things, and kind of a little backstory that's kind of a nice little behind the scenes part too. The last Alan Wake game came out 13 years ago. Sam Lake, the creative director, conveniently wrote the plot to also have occurred 13 years ago. The characters will talk about that as certain events occurred that way, but they conveniently wrote it that way, so they know people who've played the game. It's been 13 years since they played the game, so there's a lot of plot details you kind of forgot or didn't know. So they kind of relay some of those details you go, knowing it may have been a long time since people played the first game.
That's cool. I enjoy that. So they've written the game so they can like reintroduce stuff to people who play the game in the past, but can't remember some stuff, but don't want to bother replaying it, right?
Yeah.
That's really fun.
Yeah, it's a super cool thing they did.
That dog is saying I'm watching with my eyes closed. All right, let's go ahead and start a new game here. Yeah. Let's do hard. Let's try that out. Right, we're greeted with a loading screen. I'm like very excited, Elemental, for this. To be honest, like I have a big smile on my face, and I've been waiting to play this one. Really excited. Yeah.
Back to the beginning. We all come to a story with hopes and expectations, looking for an answer. Sometimes it would be better to live with that hope without ever knowing the full story.
Until moments ago, I thought this actor was Jake Gyllenhaal, but I googled it for fun, and it's not.
In a horror story, there are only victims and monsters. And the trick is not to end
Definitely
up as
not.
either. But trapped by the genre, we are all ripped to pieces along the way. This is not the story I hoped it would be. This is not the ending I wanted. This story will eat us alive. This story is a monster.
So artistic, man.
And monsters wear many faces.
So did you play Control?
I played maybe about an hour or two. I didn't play a lot.
Okay, so at least you're familiar with their creative direction as far as doing the story.
Yes. Oh yeah.
So this is definitely one of those games where they build on each of the games how they do story mechanics, and so they use the creative use of the live action acting scenes and CG, so they kind of blend them together.
Oh, I see. Oh, guys, just to let you know, the beginning is very gruesome from what I've heard. Actually, it's a warning from ElementalLeech, so just beware.
Nudity warning.
Yeah.
And also a nudity warning.
There you go. As soon as I saw him, I was like, yeah, gotta say that. Yeah, Remedy, man. I gotta get more into them. The thing is, Alan Wake came out on Xbox 360, and I didn't have a 360 back then. I was into PlayStation, so I was never able to play that and Quantum Break, yeah. So.
Oh, it was an Xbox exclusive. I didn't realize that.
It was.
I knew
an
Quantum
Xbox.
Break was. Because yeah, Quantum Break is owned by Microsoft still. So as far as the there you go.
Oh boy.
Lighting.
Beautiful.
Yeah, as far as like the Remedy verse, they have an interconnected universe. Quantum Break is not technically in that because it's owned by Microsoft. So Remedy itself can't directly relate characters. Same with Max Payne. I'm realizing that it's owned by Rockstar, so they can't technically use the names of characters. They can kind of use their likenesses.
They're kind of like reference it, but
yeah,
like not directly.
There's a detail I remember in Control. There's a document you found that was signed by like an MB. Let me look up. Quantum Break real quick. What's the character? MH.
Okay.
Martin Hatch. It was.
Oh my god, this is disturbing.
Yeah, character from Quantum Break was Martin Hatch, so the document signed MH because they couldn't directly use his name, but it was references to Quantum Break. Kind
Very
of
cool.
little things they're kind of dropping.
There's a DLC in Control that directly connect Alan Wake with the game, right?
Yes.
That's cool.
It was the last DLC release. I think it was called The Rider, maybe. It connects how Control connects to Alan Wake.
This is insane. It's dark here. It's dark in Canada. Oh, cool. I need some
Can you
company.
turn some more lights on?
Yeah, exactly. Oh man. So the DLC, is it like a cool like oh my god moment, or like is it a very cool like connection?
It's a very cool connection, still within Control, in the Control universe, but it shows how, if you know Alan Wake's story and Control, what they do, it shows how the two can be connected.
Oh, gotcha. Oh, look at that achievement. I do feel like I've achieved something by doing that part.
Walking around the forest butt naked.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, Roundster, welcome. We're playing something very, very gruesome, by the way. Fair warning.
Just this first, like the next, After this, it's fine. It's just this opening little bit.
Yeah, get out of there. So yeah, this mysterious thing about in Alan Wake is that like characters that he's created from his book is like chasing him, and he's it's so strange. Like there's so many strange things. Like he's founding pages of things he wrote, but it's things he wrote about his next story, but he didn't actually wrote it yet. So, like it's just so well written, you know. Like, you know, know, Max Payne is really simple. It's just they killed your family, you're getting revenge. That's it, you know. And then I think it gets a little bit more complicated in 2 and 3 because he gets addicted to drugs and stuff like that. But the first one is like super simple.
Hey, kiddo.
It's not like that
How are you?
afterwards.
I'm good, Mom. How are you?
Well, and there too, the
This trip might
storytelling
take
they
a little
did
longer than I
through like
thought.
comic book panels
I'm
with
sorry
the
I haven't gone
voiceover.
so
It
much
was
lately,
so much
Logan.
fun.
That was really
Oh
cool.
my God, Mom!
It was
not
real
just that
actors,
people
right?
get all murdery. What happened?
Just
Yeah, I mean, what do you
worse.
mean by real actors?
If we're still
Dad
talking
and I
about the
just
Max
watching
Payne
the
comic
latest
book,
episode of Night Trains here. Mom, it's
like the,
so good.
it wasn't
No
like a cartoon,
spoilers.
right? Like it was like real characters
Oh,
in the
yeah.
You
in
were
the
supposed
screen.
to
Yeah,
wait and watch
they
with
actually took
me.
stills or pictures of actual actors acting it out.
This is what
So
happens when you go on
the
road
fun
trips,
tidbit
Mom.
there, the
Love you too.
um,
And say
on-screen
thanks, and tell her to stop
image of
doing
Max
so much.
Payne, so the avatar that you see is actually the creative director Sam Lake.
Oh no
Bye,
way!
kiddo.
Yeah,
That is so cool.
he put himself in the game.
Oh wow.
So he is. I don't know if he is in the third
Well,
one or
then
the
guess
second
you
one, but I know the
should try
first game for
cheering
sure.
up.
He is Max Payne. That is his face.
Snarky kid.
That is cool.
Wonder where she gets that from.
The voice of Max Payne, which you may recognize right now,
Oh well, look at
is
that.
James McCaffrey.
Okay,
It can't be a coincidence.
He's done a
that
lot. He's a
Barbara
big
turns
name
up just
actor,
as we
but
arrive in town.
very cool.
Feels like the
he is the
killers leave
voice
us a
of Max Payne, but also currently
I'm
her
glad you're
partner.
on this case with me, Anderson.
But currently who? Sorry.
It's right up your alley. You should
What we're watching
take
right
me.
now.
Okay,
So you got
yeah,
Think of me as the backup.
Saga is the one driving. It's me, the character you're gonna play as, and her partner.
Okay.
I don't know if she's name dropped him yet. Is Alex Casey
Any
is her
words of
partner,
advice?
Oh,
which they'll explain
Cheer
some fun
anyone
stuff
up.
about that in a minute.
he really looks like a character in Half-Life 2, like the what's he called?
Here we are.
He's always
Cauldron
peeking in
Lake.
the mind of Gordon.
Time to get
But
to
anyway, I don't
work.
remember his name, but he reminds me of him. But anyway, sorry. So yeah, what's up with him?
I'll let them talk about it here in a minute, but basically it's still Sam Lake again playing this
A
character.
deputy was supposed to be here to show us to the crime
So
scene.
he's putting himself in his game again
There's
because
the
he's just
car, so
fun
where's
like
the
that.
deputy?
Because why not?
Eaten by a
He does look
bear.
like him a little bit
I'll
like
check out
Max
that
Payne.
map.
Yeah. Oh man, I'm really loving the graphics. Like it's amazing.
Worth memorizing before we get swallowed up by the trees.
Nightmare territory.
I think I hear someone.
This is helpful. You have a map and you can see
Go take a look.
Oops.
where you're at. Get a long hold. There you go.
Oh.
It'll show you where you're at, and then as you find certain collectibles or items, it'll kind of show you where they're at as you go by.
Oh.
I think, and I've not gotten very good about this. I've played the game maybe 12 hours now. I think it does do like a fog effect of what you have been. It like ungrays it,
Ooh.
if I remember right. But it basically shows you like where there's a certain locked door you can't do, or like a certain item you've seen but you can't unlock yet, or like a chest is. It'll kind of highlight those on the map for you, which is super helpful to come back to.
That's really nice. You know, it's good for like the collectors. Do you plan on doing the game 100% at some point?
Depending on what the achievements are, I'm one to try and play through as much of the game as I can before I look at achievements, because sometimes if they're not locked, they can spoil some details.
You're
That's true.
half right.
Gotta be careful with that.
Anderson,
Sanchez, welcome to the stream, my friend. I'm doing well, thank you. Very excited today to have a very proper stream with Elemental here. And Elemental, hope you're doing all right too, my friend.
Saga Anderson. I'll be leading this case.
Yeah, I'm doing
Seems
fantastic.
you already know my partner, Alex.
Playing one of my
Casey.
favorite games.
Yeah,
Sorry about that, ma'am.
I'll need to.
I'm Deputy
This is
Mulligan.
the first look,
I
but
just figured
I'll
that,
need to
you know,
play it,
that,
back from the beginning, and really
thankfully,
take it all. You know what I mean? Like just
my
focus
partner
and
Thornton,
see what's happening.
down at the crime scene. He's not what you call the sharpest axe in the shed.
So basically, you got the local cops,
Oh, okay.
and one of the cops is talking to the guy you're talking to right now on his radio, and realized he was talking about the FBI agents while he's standing right there in front of him.
I was getting to that, Thornton.
Um,
Well,
there,
we
there's a
reckon there are
show
some
that me and my girlfriend
organs
watch
that are
sometimes. It's called
currently
FBI, actually, and
outside the victim's
we actually
person
really, really
when they
enjoy that
should
show
be,
for some reason.
but you know,
Not
inside.
familiar with that one.
It's like there's a lot of like cop show and an investigation show right on TV, but FBI like it's so intense compared to that. Like like it's all calm, whatever the investigating. All of a sudden, someone shot himself. There's always like something crazy like that happens that you don't expect, and
Were there
that's
any
what I like about
witnesses?
it.
Interesting.
Couple
Is it like a
out-of-towners.
fictionalized
Wonder
type
what they
thing?
were doing
Yes,
sneaking
it is.
around the woods at night.
Well, no, it is non-fiction. Like, there's no like anything that would be
Right, Thornton?
unreal.
But don't
But
worry.
Yeah.
Sheriff
it's
Baker
But they're
took him
not
back
based
to
on
town
real
a while
events.
ago.
oh no, for sure. And
Gotcha.
yeah,
I wanna
like
see the body.
it's
How do
very
we get there?
intensified. Like
Oh,
you wouldn't see
sure,
like
that's real
FBI
simple.
doing
Just
that
through
kind
the
of
hole
stuff.
in the
Like
fence,
sacrificing
down the hill
themselves
towards
or
the
like
lake around the old convenience
people
store.
and stuff like
Can't
that.
miss it. Everything's been closed since the area was fenced off. The store, the campground, all of it.
Kind of speak like a Texan elemental. I feel like he has like
They got it,
that
Thornton.
thick accent.
Their country. This is supposed to be in Washington State
Washington.
of the United States. Yeah.
Gotcha.
I don't remember exactly where
Before we
in
get to the crime scene,
Washington,
there's time to review the facts of the case so far.
but that's where the first Alan
Make
Wake.
sure
Like
I'm
they're
seeing the clues clearly.
basically in that area again from the first game.
So in the first game, they take a vacation and they're in Washington during that
I need to
vacation.
think through the facts of
Yeah,
the
and
case.
the fictional town called Bright Falls.
Bright Falls. Gotcha. You can access the case board inside the mine place. I heard that the mine place is kind of like really important in the game.
It's oh
Look
cool.
at that.
Place. My version of the Mind Palace technique. To
Cool.
sift through clues and work the case. Building the mind place again for each case. Using each field office as a model in my head.
Um,
The facts are on
So
the
you
board.
can freely walk around here. So there's the case board as you get certain details. You piece them together. It's literally a red string board. But there's certain things. These are you can do your upgrades. There's other details you look into. This is like your investigation room that you come to and just. It's also how you further the plot. So like you get to a certain point, where it's like I don't know where to go. There's usually something you have to interact with in here to unlock that certain detail. The character, oh, I need to do this thing. The game's pretty good about walking you through some of those details.
very nice.
But sometimes I forget I don't know where I'm going. I feel like it's one of those I know where I need to go, but the game doesn't show you how to get there, and it's because you're missing a detail you haven't next to the dots in the game.
They're not holding your hand like for this type of stuff.
Not entirely. Right now they're probably gonna a little bit because they're
Well,
explaining
yeah,
how
yeah.
it works.
Yeah, for sure.
But after that you're on your own.
The Mind Palace is something that's used in the Sherlock Holmes games. My girlfriend's a big fan of these games, but it's not fleshed out like that. Like it's not like a whole room. It's just like, not objective, but like words that you have to match together and stuff like that. So it's pretty cool.
Nice.
Granite says, "Good evening. I'm glad you were able to get straight into the game, given how much GFN gods were conspiring against you." Yeah, there was
Everything we know about the previous.
there was
case.
some stuff happening. There was like
Worth taking
some
another
maintenance in on GFN, and then after that there was a patch for the game. So like it was like, come on, hopefully it's working. Luckily, it's still working, so we're good. Okay. You can use R to move around. You can use LT and RT to zoom. You can use. Okay, you can now free to navigate the case board, or leave by pressing B. Continue. All right. So that's the kind of part where it's hard to stream and like figure these things out at the same time.
Yeah, this is basically talking about the murder you're currently investigating, which is what we witnessed at the beginning of the game, is linked to or similar to other murders that have been occurring. And so these are the other
gotcha.
details of the prior murders, as far as, the methodology, like how it was done, who was done, trying to find that idea of trying to find the connection between people and events and things like that.
Gotcha. Yeah, I wonder who that guy was and why was he like in the wood? Something must have happened. Killer profile. Okay. Common trait. Chest trauma. Animal butchery techniques. Interesting. So it's a hunter of some kind. So wise goals. I don't know if it's worth looking at that. Okay.
Yep.
Cool.
That's your current objectives. That's kind of also the go-to thing to figure out what you need to be doing.
Okay, perfect. The map. All right. Now there has to be a way to leave here, right? Or do I have to figure something out
Yep.
first?
The top right corner there has the window button.
Oh,
Says exit.
Okay, yeah. Well, that would definitely
I
help
see
me.
you're
There you go.
already hard at work, Anderson. Close to cracking it.
So we can see the map. There you go.
Down the hill to the crime scene.
Granite says, I've heard many good things about Alan Wake, but I've never played. Granite, I've started playing the first one and it's so good. And Elemental, as he said, he's like a super fan of Remedy games. So it just shows that, like it just makes me want to play these games, So I think I'll go ahead and play them in order, actually. I'll play the first one, then Quantum Break, then... I don't know so is it worth going through Max Payne 2 and 3, Elemental?
I mean, worth playing them? I would say yes, because they're absolutely fun to play, but being connected, no, as far as the Remedy universe. Since they're Rockstar, they're not directly connected as far as the events goes, but they're super fun. I did recently play them because I picked them up on sale, so I did go play through 1, 2, and 3. I had an absolute blast playing them because it's just good, silly fun playing those games.
Yeah, always wanted to get back at them for sure. I think I owned the second one for a while. But yeah, maybe that's something I'll get into. I know that they're a lot more action-y compared to the other games, but...
Well, it was the original invention of bullet time in games.
It's true.
You okay to jump down?
And I do want to know what's happening with Max Payne. Like, he is pretty messed up in the other two games, so I really want to check that out.
The third one, if I remember right, he's basically like retired or semi-retired and is like done with all that stuff and just wants to just be retired. And it reminds me of kind of like a Bourne, or if you ever watched Burn Notice, kind of the idea of I'm just done. I don't want to be going back in this. I want a simple job, just make it easy, have my drinks, go to sleep, and he gets wrapped into stuff still.
Of course. Yeah, I see he has like the Hawaiian shirt. He has like the sunglasses, right? Like totally someone who's just enjoying a good time.
Not a bad place to get murdered.
I bet that he had maybe that's where Walter White's character came out of. Like maybe that's a type of idol that they got.
Damn, should have brought an umbrella.
What's happening here?
Rain.
Got a lot of people in the chat.
That
I'm like halfway through this game.
You
Nice.
think the local law had the sense to put up a tarp?
Scary or
If they did,
spooky?
Next coffee's on me.
Grant says, I specifically bought Max Payne back in the day for bullet time. Yeah, that was a really cool feature back then. I think that's why I started playing it too, actually. I remember bullet time, yeah. Man.
Scary or spooky? I would put it more in the realm of spooky. They categorize Max Payne as like a survival horror type game. I would consider it more of a thriller in sorts. They don't really do jump scares like Resident Evil does, where it makes you physically jump. They do kind of lead things a little bit before it actually jumps. The first game, I think, probably did more jump-ish scares a little more, but not like super jump scares like Resident Evil does. But I'd say it's more spooky. It's definitely dark. Dark as far as storytelling, and dark as in literally you're using flashlights, so it's a very not light.
Yeah, well,
not a bright game.
You can see that it's not even light really right now, right? So
yeah.
Even if
but the first game I would definitely say is spookier than this game as far as what I've played so far of Alan Wake 2. The first one definitely has more of a suspense, builds up a lot more in the sound effects and what's going on.
Deputy.
The game got a lot of praise. The reviews are pretty high.
Okay.
But there's this
Let's start by
one
examining our guest of honor.
publishing place,
Was this the MO of the previous
Game
murders?
Rant. They rated it like 2.5 out of 5 or something like that. They said that the game
Step 1.
was
Examine the
only
corpse.
giving you jump scares, and that and that how do you say that? That like that you could just like skip all the enemies and run through the stage without killing anybody, and it's so funny. Like
Body
they
is
just
positioned on the
didn't like it.
table.
That
Ritualistic.
they're not wrong on being able to run past enemies. There are parts, but then think about most Resident Evil games,
I
even
was
the
thinking
early
the
ones. There
same.
are
Yeah.
parts where you can run past some of the zombies if you
Mhm.
if you do it right. And some parts, if you're speed running it, you want to run past them.
Yeah.
And this is one of those games where you can do that sometimes, and I do it on purpose sometimes because your supplies are low,
Coincidence?
or they're slow enough that it's like, no, I'm exploring, and they're just kind of just milling around. They're not it's not like you're in an arena where you have to kill them kind of thing sometimes.
Mhm.
There's some parts where you're just walking around. It has to be that's the enemy area, because you'll have events where they tell you where it's like you can freely explore and there's no one to attack you, versus you kind of can tell you're in a enemy induced area that you have to be a little more careful.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I was exactly thinking the same because um I was playing the first game, Alan Wake, and I was skipping some enemies because you don't have a lot of bullets, right? So you gotta be careful. Let's collect some clues. We've
The
got
killer left the heart right next to the body.
got a heart. Yeah, this is very similar to Sherlock Holmes, actually. Now
Bruising on the wrist
investigation
from
like
the
that.
cargo straps
Crazy.
holding him down.
Yeah, so you'll take these details. You've got the little
Incise
Polaroid
stab wound.
screenshot pictures of them.
Chest
So you
cut
go in the
open.
mine place
Heart removed.
and see the clues available. So you go to your case board and add them to that.
Gotcha.
You have the pictures. Thank you to push up on the D-pad maybe. There you go.
Okay, cool. Oops. There you go.
Doesn't make sense.
You have to put it on the card, the detail you want to connect it to.
Okay. There you go.
Heart removed from chest, strapped by the wrists. Definitely matches the previous
Man,
murders.
it's crazy.
But this time the heart and the straps were left behind.
Like
More clues to
I know I should be listening to the story, but
This makes
all I'm doing
more
is looking
murders
at
than we
this
know about.
girl's sweater, and it's so fuzzy and like so well made. Dated goals by checking why. Okay, learn more about the victim. Okay, good. But look at the sweater. It's crazy.
Thing I appreciate the detail for her is her hair.
Oh yeah.
How she's got a very curly, crinkly kind of hair, and you can truly see the detail. If you move her back and forth, you can see her hair waving a little bit.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And hair is one thing it's excruciatingly difficult to do in a game, and they just do such a fantastic job. And the light just does everything just so perfectly in this game.
It's amazing. The first time I noticed some really cool hair was in Splinter Cell. I think the second game, Pandora Tomorrow, I believe. And
That's a callback.
yeah, right. I remember looking at the hair on the GameCube, and I was like, "Wow!" Because I think that every single hair was put on his head, but he had a shaved head, so like it wasn't like crazy. But for me, like I remember that it just came back to me when we talked about the hair. But yeah, hair can be a difficult thing, so it's pretty cool. All right, let's exit here.
Who is our victim? Who killed him?
Uh,
Need
Gr-
to find more clues.
Granite says, first lesson I learned in martial arts was to run if that was an option. Interesting.
Large amount of blood on the table.
Well,
The
what
victim died here.
first lesson I've learned from Max Payne is take a lot of drugs and you'll have better reflexes. So, there's that.
Multiple people were
Yeah, you
here.
can slow time down.
Multiple killers?
Yeah. Okay, so I'm adding stuff to my case. Wait, do we have more clues? Whoops. Oh, this is the same button to avoid it as the first game.
Any idea who the victim is?
Oh, I sure do. His name is Nightingale. He was FBI. He came to town about 13 years ago.
Oh, yeah.
Now, I haven't heard a word about him since. Well, until now.
Nightingale. Robert Nightingale?
Oh, yes. You probably knew him. Brothers in arms. Oh, and sisters.
They know him. Interesting. So
Yeah, so you go back to the mine place and
okay. So, do you know like Elemental? Do you know some history with Remedy? Like, did they have like rough patches or, you know, how come they did some partnership, you know, with Rockstar and Microsoft? Like, do you know how that all worked out?
Those details I don't know. Rockstar, Max Payne, I believe is their first game, so probably
Yeah.
they're a small studio at the time, and that was the distributor, publisher, whatever they're considered that they got. So Max Payne was their first big game they did,
Mhm.
and had that with Rockstar to release it, and did 3 games. Like, I think the first 2 were on the original Xbox, so maybe PS1, PS2, I'm not sure. Maybe PS2. I don't know Sony very well as far as their generation is there, but I know it was original Xbox, and then Max Payne 3 was the Xbox 360.
Max Payne 2 was actually on 360 also, if I recall. Um, Ma-
Okay.
Max Payne 1 was, I think it was on original Xbox and PlayStation
Yeah,
2.
that one. Yeah, I know it was original Xbox. I remember playing it at a
Mhm.
friend's house when it was out. We were just having fun at the bullet time. Just we didn't care what we were doing. We kept on dying. Like, this is fun. You just jump through a door and push the bullet.
Yeah. This is, you know, I was a console gamer. I've always been a console gamer and I use a controller, but Max Payne, I had to use mouse and keyboard. Like, just the feeling of like,
Interesting.
yeah, I love like the feeling of looking everywhere and precision shooting, you know, like it was really cool. Heavy blood splatter. Must be the killer.
Footprints.
Yeah,
indicating
so
multiple killers.
Max Payne was on
Quite the
was
party.
Rockstar, and then Alan Wake was their next game, which I guess then was a Microsoft exclusive from what you're saying, so it wasn't on PlayStation.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's when they started really getting their name out there.
Did they plan for the murder to happen here?
The game after that, Quantum Break, which is personally my favorite. That's a tough. Actually, between that and Control are my favorites of theirs.
Really?
Recognize him in his current
Yeah,
state.
Quantum Break, I absolutely love for the story and the way they do everything. Control,
Never worked any cases
because of
together.
how they do the mechanics of the game, doing the actual controls of the game, and how they relay all of the navigation in the game. I felt like was an ingenious way of going about it. But yeah, Quantum Break was a Microsoft exclusive, and it didn't get very good reviews because they had literal live-action TV episodes between each chapter of the game. So you'd finish a chapter, and you would literally have 45-minute TV episode to
45
watch.
minutes? Oh my
I bet
gosh.
there's more
Yes.
to that story.
But
no
the choice you
happy
made at the end of that particular chapter would have an effect on that particular episode. Like, there was 2 different ways that episode could go.
Same as
Wow.
all the other
Can you
And so
like
depending on
Certainly fits the
oh,
pattern.
What's up?
Can you like
Makes me
save
wonder what
save
was
the
going
game
on
mid
that year.
mid wash? Like, can you
probably
take breaks or do you have to watch it
something
all in
this
one
town
go?
wants to forget.
That I don't remember.
Okay.
If I think you can, or you can fast forward. I forget that detail.
Okay.
If you could pause it or not. But I just remember that was one of the detail people hated, is that they're playing this game and it's like, go watch this episode. I'm like,
Not
I
to
get
try
that, but it was a unique way of going about it, and I absolutely
for a
loved blending. Because you watched an actor
Someone
as you're
was
playing
drinking
them,
beer.
and then you go and watch
They
them in
spent
live
time
action
here.
doing a scene. It was just the
Waiting.
coolest
I
thing.
think that's everything.
Yeah, this
For
is
now, at least.
really interesting. Like,
Anything
for
clicking
me
yet?
personally,
Not
like
sure.
I'm really excited to
think
try
about
that
it.
out. How did the gameplay work compared to Control? Are they kind of similar in terms of like gameplay, or are they very different?
They've definitely built up on each game, learned
I
from
had to
their
review the clues.
just ability of what they do, and player feedback, things like that. I mean, all of them are third person, over the shoulder like we are right now. I feel like Quantum Break and Control had the most similar controls, because Quantum Break, you had those force type abilities, but they used time manipulation in Quantum Break, and Control was more throwing stuff around using physics-based type things. But it felt very similar if you would use a bubble here, a bubble there, do this thing here, hold that.
Yeah.
So they're very similar mechanics. But Control definitely played more with the physics of actually seeing things break apart and fly away and individual pieces. Yeah, so they've used a very similar. Even Alan Wake and Alan Wake 2 here use a similar aspect of third person over the shoulder.
They were waiting for him.
Gunplay feels very, very similar.
Why Nightingale?
They kept that very, very
He's
similar
been
across the
missing for
board.
13 years.
What I like is they still stand out to each
Why
other,
here?
right? Max Payne is like
Why
action
Mhm.
type of game. Alan Wake is more like mystery, over type of game, and then Control is kind of like a Metroidvania.
Yes.
Get into
Which
the
is
subject's
created.
head.
Quantum Break.
See
I'm
what
actually
they
not
saw.
sure.
Feel
I was
what they
always
felt.
interested on it, but
Use
since it
whatever I
only
know about
came
them
to
guide my
Xbox,
intuition
like
for
I just
revelation.
didn't really took the time
Piece
to
it
look it up.
together.
But it was definitely like Remedy has always been uh really good at the quality of their game. That's crazy. Like the graphics, they always
Yeah.
break like um innovative graphics and all of that. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, Quantum Break is kind of a mix of Alan Wake and Control as far as the mechanics of the game, as far as the gameplay itself. It's definitely
Nightingale was
puzzle
chosen as the
oriented
victim.
with as far as the
Why?
abilities you have. But it's kind of an action adventure as far as you have a gun, you have abilities, you're shooting guys. So it's probably more along the lines of kind of like Max Payne of you have a lot of guards
wasn't some
coming at you and
random
you're shooting them, they're shooting at you.
This was a
But then like
ritual.
Control, where you're using your abilities to block
Nightingale,
them
an
and stop
opponent.
them and move them
They
and
didn't
stop
see him
them and
as a
things like
person.
that.
More like a
That's cool.
container for something.
And yeah, I mean, I don't know about Quantum Break, but Control story is also like super mind blowing. Like she goes in
Ian
this
Nightingale has been MIA for 13
place, which is like I
years.
think it's like the bureau
How
of
did he end up
something,
here?
and
Mhm.
like just crazy stuff happens again. Like it's just I don't know. I don't know if it's that. If it's the main director who creates these stories, but if it is, like he has a pretty crazy mind for sure.
Robert Nightingale came from
I know
Rome.
he's the
Before
creative
his murder.
director. I don't know if he necessarily does all the writing, but I'm pretty sure, yeah, Sam Lake is behind pretty much all this stuff.
Wow.
And he likes to use a lot of actors and things, back and forth between his stuff. The fun little tidbit, I think they talked about it. We kind of probably grazed across it. So your
This mug always
partner
cheers me
in
up.
this game, Alex Casey, they mentioned at some point, I don't remember when they did or if they have yet, that Alan Wake in the first game has a book that he writes about a hard-boiled detective named Alex Casey.
Huh. Interesting.
And the character in Alan Wake 2 here, the detective, her partner, is like, yes, I'm aware that there's a book that's conveniently written by, my name also. He's like, and he's like, it eerily has some details that's similar to my life, but he's like, but it's not at the same time. So he's one of those, he's aware there's a book with his name on it, but it's not him, but it's oddly coincidence that it is his name kind of thing, and that he's a detective and it's a detective book. So kind of thing we talked about earlier, that Max Payne, the actual game, the actor, the face is Sam Lake, the voice is James McCaffrey. This game, same thing. The face is Sam Lake, the voice is James McCaffrey, but because it's Rockstar that owned the property, they can't say, oh yeah, this is Max Payne. So they kind of created a analog to show, here's this hard-boiled detective that's like a Max Payne, but they can't use that name. And this is me 100% speculating. I have no confirmation of the details, but Sam Lake's been very tongue-in-cheek about some of those details. I think it's because that license they can't say that, oh yeah, it's Max Payne. It's like, it's the
lake is
likeness
connected to
and very
Nightingale
similar
somehow.
because of the actors they used.
I'm sure that they could like.
Let's take a look down
I'm sure
the
some
lake.
people made some
Lead the
crazy
way.
Sounds good.
research and look like
Wait,
the
right.
year that this
Right.
was in, and if it makes sense, that if it was Max Payne
Mhm.
and stuff like that. I bet.
The other fun thing from Control, so let me go back.
Okay.
Alan Wake, the actor. So you've got the face and the voice are also two different people.
Oh,
This
okay.
one of your hunches,
So you have the
Anderson?
mocap
Does something
actor
happen
who
with the
plays the Alan Wake that you see, but the voice of Alan Wake is a completely different person. Just like with Max Payne or Alex Casey here, it's one's doing the visual, one's doing the voice.
When
Interesting.
you're ready, I'd love to hear
And
what you put
the
together so
voice actor
Sure.
for Alan Wake is
It's not that
also
complicated.
Dr. Darling from Control.
Nightingale
Oh,
was out in the
okay.
woods alone at night.
So the guy you see as Darling, that is the voice of Alan Wake.
Ambushed him.
Did they
Dragged him to the campgrounds, strapped him
did
to
they do
the
the same
table,
thing? Did
cut
they
his
make
heart
it so like it's supposed
But
to
then they were
be
interrupted by
Max
those
Payne,
witnesses
or
brokers.
it's not the same as Alan Wake 2?
The job
here?
is unfinished.
That seems pretty complicated to me.
What do you mean?
What was
Like,
this guy doing skinny dipping at this time of year?
Here, his partner, his
idea.
FBI partner, we can like assume that it's Max Payne,
Lots of answers for us
but
to
Right.
they
find.
can't say it.
I
But in
didn't
Control,
know trees
the voice
got
actor,
that big.
can you assume that it's Max Payne also?
Gives me the creeps.
You need
In
to get
Control?
out more.
So there's no actor in
It is
Control
kinda
that's from
creepy,
Max Payne.
Okay, that answers my question.
Yeah, it's kind of a fun just aside behind the scenes thing that some of the actors they used. Well, no, I take that
There's a
back.
piece of
Control.
clothing around.
It's not connected to Max Payne, but the
Tracks.
actors is a fun thing.
Barefoot.
The
Nightingales?
original director Trench, when
They
you
come
show up
out
at the very
behind
beginning of the game,
Makes no
his voice is James McCaffrey,
Okay.
who is the voice of Max Payne. So there again, they use the same actor again.
A page
And then
full
the
of
main
text
character,
on one
Jesse, in Control, she is a character in Quantum
With a
Break. I mean, it's there again, not a direct connection, but they use the actor again.
Lines
So it's one of those like,
stretched out
hey,
on
she
the
looks
page.
familiar. It's like, no, she does look familiar because that is the same actress they
Manuscript.
use, kind of thing.
page of a story.
Gotcha.
So they're one of those studios. They like to reuse actors, whether they're directly using that character or just happen to like working with that actor.
Yeah.
The text is
That's
about
cool.
us.
I like these tidbit
victim was
stories.
one of their
It's
own.
pretty cool to
FBI
learn more about
Special
Remedy.
Agent Robert
Like, it's weird
Nightingale.
because I
And
feel
then there was
like,
the page they found.
but I don't know.
The
Like it
first
says
step
if
down
Remedy
into
like
terrifying depths.
was
Reading
like a
these
sleeping
words.
developer for me. Like
These words
for me,
sound
they
like
just
a
came
message.
out of nowhere and made all
Someone
these
knew they were
pretty
here,
crazy
someone
games.
playing
But it's
a
probably
game with them.
because there were some of these
invitation.
games that were exclusive.
How
I never
could they
got a
not
chance to
accept?
play them.
Even if they knew it would end up hurting them.
So they found their first page,
Ooh.
and they're reading about
Oh,
them.
sweet.
Someone's been
Hey
watching us.
Ryan, welcome to the stream, my friend.
Game with us.
Beaver to Beaver.
You were right. This is right up my alley.
So you said it's a
Nightingale came
page.
this way.
Is it a page of Alan?
Either he dropped this
Oh,
page.
So
the
go
keys
into the
left it for
mine
us.
place.
Okay,
Oh, actually, that probably prompted there. Go.
go back.
I should profile Nightingale about this
No,
page.
go back in there,
Okay,
and then click A on the case board,
okay.
and then you can use the shoulder buttons on the top there as the different basic parts of the room you can go to. So if you go one to the right,
Gotcha. Okay.
there's a manuscript page there, and you can click. He'll read this one then. So this is one other accessibility thing I like about the game is anytime there's any text in the game, whether it's a sign, anything you read anywhere, you can click on it and it'll give you a full text version of what's good. Even if
Yeah.
you could sit there and actually read it yourself, they give you a clear text to be able to read what's there too, in case you can't visually see it sometimes.
I like that too.
So
yeah.
it's super helpful. But as far as the non-spoiler but connection to the first game, you've got Special FBI Agent Nightingale, who was doing the investigation in the first game of Alan Wake, like looking into the murder, or not the murder, when his wife goes missing. Nightingale's the one that shows up to start that.
Oh, really?
So that's who, the one they're saying 13 years ago, that's who Nightingale is and why they kind of know him, because he's also an FBI, but he also went missing 13 years ago, investigating the events that went on of the
Okay.
events of the first game 13 years ago.
So Nightingale was in the first game.
Yes,
But-
not a whole lot, but yes,
Okay.
he's in he's detailed in the first game in some events.
Okay, because I don't. Oh, hi, Crystal. I don't remember him. Like, I think right now, the only preschool I saw was a local sheriff. I think it's a lady, and
Yes.
there's a like a doctor, a local doctor, who just came to see if you were doing okay, and I think you didn't look okay, but like he made you go anyway, but crazy. Okay, so I actually have to go here. Let's see the page.
We found a page in the woods. A story about these events. What is Nightingale's role in this?
It's cool that they introduce you to the investigation first. Usually game starts out very actiony, but this one they make you do the investigation right away.
You must dig it out.
Yeah,
Something
they're
was put inside him.
laying out her
in his
method
chest.
of reviewing the details and the
I must
different
find out
manners you
what.
go about it. Because this part here, the profiling is super cool, where she does that like FBI profiling of different individuals and gets into their mind of, okay, here's the question. Say, okay, well, what are they doing? But as you're playing it, and something my wife has asked me too, because she wasn't
think he
fully
came from
paying
the
attention,
lake.
because she doesn't like scary games, so
His
she's kind of
tracks
half
make
watching
no
sometimes.
sense.
She's like, is this what Saga's asking, or is this what she's being told? And that's kind of the question you're left with of, is it something she's actually thinking up, or is it something that's being written that she's being told that she's asking this question? So it's still not an answer I've gotten, but it is an interesting question of, she's profiling as her job would be, but where are these answers she's coming up with coming from?
Properly examine the body. See what I can find inside.
All right.
So there you go. So yeah, as they turn blue, you've completed these threads.
Oh, gotcha.
When they're yellow, they're still active.
Okay. The I mean, this is probably like the tutorial, because all I did was just put these pictures to the yellow and it works. So, but I bet there's a lot more complicated ones out there at some point.
It's pretty much how that works. You just add things. You have to figure out where some go, but it's not super difficult.
Okay.
It's more kind of relaying the overall story
I think
to
something's been
get
put
to the
inside
next
Nightingale's
story
body.
beat once you get out of the
Let's
mine
tell the
place.
deputies to get
makes
the body
sense.
to the town morgue.
Got Max
Okay.
Payne here with us. Okay.
So I think you're going to the morgue now.
Okay. I'll
So you got to
follow.
find your way back.
Whoever wrote that page made sure it read like a story. Like a scene from a thriller.
I hate all of it. The text said we'd find more. I believe it.
But
Yeah,
what's
so
the
here, go look at
purpose?
this lighting here as you go up.
They're twisting
Oh
events
my
to
gosh,
create their
yeah.
own narrative to do what?
Slow down.
Entertain some fantasy?
There you go. Look at the fog.
Projecting
The
their desires?
This is crazy.
Are we characters or the audience? Witnesses to their design? All the above?
It's
you
all
look on the
about
ground too, how the
control.
light reflects on it. It's just
Deciding what happens
absolutely
to
amazing
who.
how much work they put into
Don't let
this.
it drag
It's
you
hard.
I geek about this too.
Too late.
Yeah, it's hard to
Already
not
here.
stop and
I need
enjoy
the next
the
chapter.
the graphics.
The other thing I was impressed with, I think you're eventually going to get to a point where they're going to go up some stairs. The way their animation changes between, like, they're walking right now, and then when you run, they change their pace. Their arms and legs move differently. But the way they go downstairs or upstairs also changes, and not many games change the animation style from going from one surface to another.
Yeah. Let's see here. I was wondering if the frame rate was dipping a little bit. Let's see. Oh well, I don't know what was that. No, it's looking good.
So you
Yeah.
gotta interact with him real quick, the police officer there to.
Yeah. Just want to quickly look here. All right. Talk to him.
Deputy, I want the body taken back to town for a proper examination ASAP.
Well, sure, but the coroner won't be back in town for another week after Deerfest.
Not a problem. I'll do it myself.
Oh, and Sheriff Breaker called to say he's got the bookers at the Oh Dear Diner in town. Oh, and I've got a key to the gate. It's a shortcut
Like
back
this,
to the
how
parking
he-
lot just up the hill.
He's digging in his pockets.
Yeah. Man, it's great. So, what's nice about Remedy is all games are just super easy to get. Like, Max Payne is an old game, you can get it for cheap. Max Payne 2 and 3 on PlayStation 3, like, go in a secondhand store and you'll find them for like $5. They're really not hard to find. And then Alan Wake is always on special. I bought it for like $4 or something like that. And then Control is always free. Like, it was free on Epic. It was free everywhere. Like, it's part of many subscriptions. Same with Quantum Break. It's part of, I think it's part of the Game Pass subscription. And
Yes.
so every single game is easily accessible, and that's something that I really like about them. Shortcut key,
Well, and-
that's what the key is called.
Thanks.
Yeah. And they're someone
Let's get the car.
I've
drive
heard
to
talk
Bright
about these
Falls,
games too. Is
and
the
talk to
best
these
way,
witnesses,
especially this
the
one, they
bookers.
put it more category of an interactive game. We have like RPGs, we
Let's
have
try that
roguelikes,
shortcut
and
the
we
deputy
have
mentioned.
sports and action adventures. That you could classify this more as an interactive storytelling kind of game. Yes, there's action. Yes, there's shooting. Yes, there's the survival horror aspect of inventory management and lack of ammunition and heal. But overall, it's very
Seems like a nice
linear
town
as
so
far as
far.
where you're going about, and that
Let us
you're
decide. Pretty
walking
woods.
through this character
lodge we got set up
with this
then.
character through the story.
We should go for a hike if we get a chance.
And it's not so much a challenging game, it's more of the
Deputies aren't exactly up
the
to
idea of
task,
it's the
but
ride you go
hopefully
along.
The sheriff will be more helpful.
Not a
It's-
surprise about the deputies.
I like that there's still some gameplay elements. It could have been something like Life is Strange, right? Or Walking Dead, Telltales, where it just tells the story and not a lot of interaction. But I like this type of storytelling a little bit better because you still need to keep active to it. You still have to like somewhat progress through it and do stuff, and that's the best type of
I'm
storytelling
gonna go check something out.
for me because
Be right back.
oh wow, like Wow, she's even like saying something when I sidetrack. That's creepy. um, but like Last of Us, you know, like I mean, Last of Us does have a lot of gameplay, but I
Hmm.
felt like I was playing an experience more than
Yeah.
I was actually playing a game, and that's really cool.
Is that a kid's
Um,
lunchbox?
Here it says, I saw a clickbait headline accusing this as a walking
An Alex
simulator.
Casey movie lunchbox.
Oh my gosh.
Casey hates the endless jokes about coincidentally having the same name as a fake detective.
There you go.
He hates those cheesy crime books.
So they talk about that Casey knowing that his name, he has the same namesake as the books.
The
Interesting.
movies.
Oh, everything happens in the Mind Palace. That's pretty cool. Upgrades.
Yeah, so these things, you'll find these lunchboxes scattered throughout, and they have these clippings of manuscripts that are basically your upgrade system for Saga. You eventually get enough clippings to upgrade your guns, and you have a choice of the 3 per weapon that you have.
Awesome.
And then you'll go into the mine place to do the upgrades too.
Yeah, I love that. And you know what's crazy also? Like how there's no loading time. So let me get out. Boom, I'm here. Boom, I'm in the Mind Palace. Like, look at this. Just no loading time. I'm like, insane. Oh man. But
And they did mention at one point to be careful when you go in the mine place because you're not actually pausing the game. So if you go in the mine place in a area with enemies, you could technically be attacked. I mean, I haven't observed it, but the game does warn you.
interesting. So I can't go in the Mind Palace while I'm being attacked because I could be dying.
Yeah, so as my wife phrases, so you're sitting there in the mine place and you're just zoning out, and the other character is looking, going, "Hey, are you okay? What's going on? What's going on here?"
Oh, that's crazy. All right, so I think you know, it went by super fast. Didn't get a lot of chance to progress, but I think today the purpose was mostly just to show you guys how graphically intense this game is. Like, beautiful. Look at this lush, you know, lush environment. Like, herb moves as I move in it. It's crazy. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed it. The game is available now. Look forward to some more updates. Like I mentioned, there's going to be a new game plus with a nightmare difficulty and photo mode. So look that up. And yeah, Elemental, hopefully you get to enjoy the rest of the story. I know you're enjoying the game right now. And is there anything you'd like to say before we end the stream?
There is a chapter for another character you get to play as. You play as 2 separate characters. You got to get about 3 parts into their story. It is absolutely amazing and the funniest thing I've ever played. It is the best thing I've played in this game. It is absolutely amazing.
Oh man, now I want to keep playing, but I have so much other games. Like I really want. I think I'm gonna really finish them in order because, you know, just to get the real Remedy experience. So it's gonna be pretty fun.
If you want to do that,
Hey,
do
Casey.
Alan Wake and do Control,
What's the
since
bar's
those are
favorite
2
shape?
directly related. You don't like Quantum Break, you know, Max Payne. They're
A
adjacent but
triangle.
not directly related.
Gotcha.
Yes, you do.
Yeah, I'll definitely do that. All right, guys, thank you very much for joining the stream. Really appreciate it. And yeah, this was just a one-off. You know, I'm not gonna be streaming crazy still, but once in a while I'll do you know, a very nice stream. So hopefully you enjoyed and have yourself a wonderful rest of the Thursday. Bye, everyone.
Bye.